this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
Oh, no.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies. We like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
Excuse me. And we're going to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Well, I mean, this week we're trying to keep it simple. We're trying to do frequent pickups as we can. And therefore, 5 thing pickups will keep us in pickups for a little while anyway. I could do more than that if I wanted to, but I don't want you running out anytime soon. So,
Well, we'll see. I'm largely scaled back, really scaled back.
that's the reason why we're cutting it down.
Yeah.
Make it last, because then it'll just be me, and then having you over to react to my pickups.
Yeah.
I got a full shelf of them over here.
Right. Yeah, you do.
So,
Good times.
well, let's go ahead and get started. Go for it.
Okay. So my first one, I want to say, this is a Kino Lorber release. Probably picked it up on one of their frequent sales. It was a recent Oscar nominee. I want to say last year. I don't remember. I think it was last year. Pretty good flick. It was a documentary feature called Four Daughters. Or it's basically about it's about Olfa Hamroni and her 4 daughters. And I'm trying to remember, I want to say Syria, but it's been a minute since I've seen this. But basically it's kind of a weird structure. It kind of blends the documentary style with limited acting. The girls actually do kind of act out roles, you might say. But it uses it to talk about family dynamics in the Middle East, and it's a pretty good documentary. I enjoyed is probably not the very best term, but it is somewhat enjoyable. But it's very informative and interesting, and when I had an opportunity to pick it up cheaply, I had to jump on it.
Well, I'm back to doing these alphabetically again. So I'm doing these. So at the start of things, it's it's things that are combos, essentially double features, triple features, whatchamacallits. But eventually we're going to get to A, actually numbers, and then A, then B, then down the line. Unless I see something I want to try and do all at once. And, Well, the first one is a Brad Sykes thing. In fact, I got it signed by him. And that is the Grindhouse double feature, which is Evil Unleashed and Zombie Chronicles. So there you go there. He hit me up a while back and said, hey, I'm doing this Blu-ray release. Would you be interested in getting something? I was like, hook me up. I like Brad Sykes' stuff. He does good work. So, hey, why not? Check it out. So, Evil Unleashed, the Mummy. History tells us that back in ancient Egypt, Princess Nefertiti took her own life in an attempt to live forever under the evil god Ammon. Nefertasia was buried and never heard from again until now. When an ancient burial ground is disturbed, as you do, evil is unleashed into the present-day life of 4 high school teenagers. The curse of Nefertasia haunts them with a deadly killing spree. Can they stop her deadly seductions before the curse takes them all? Well, can they? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Then we got Zombie Chronicles. Tara Woodley is a reporter looking to do a story on the famous ghosts of the old desert town. She can't seem to find the place until she picks up a strange hitchhiker who tells her he knows the way. They proceed on a journey involving a variety of characters, including an army sergeant whose vicious cruelty kills a young recruit and 3 hapless campers who stumble on an old cursed cemetery. There you go. Sounds like some fun. I like these. These aren't too bad.
All right. My next one is, from what I understand, supposed to be something of a classic, but it's one I have not actually seen before. But it's one of the famed comic pairings of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in a Billy Wilder film called The Front Page. This is also a Kino Lorber release, 1974. I mean, again, you got that pairing of Lemmon and Matthau and Billy Wilder. That's already a pretty good pedigree. You've also got Susan Sarandon in there, Alan Garfield, Vincent Gardenia, Charles Durning is in there, Carol Burnett. That sounds like it'd be a pretty darn good movie. I've heard good things, and I just never got into it. And this actually, it has a couple of good bonus features, so probably a pretty decent addition. Again, probably picked it up on one of the Kino sales several months back. I'm running really low on new items left to present, but this is definitely one that I do need to watch. I need to find time eventually because it's a well-known and beloved film, so look forward to it.
Shoot, the only reason why I've got so many right now is because they built up over the past couple of years. But because even I am slowing down some. I keep finding stuff on anime to get, but that's only because it's stuff like, oh, this is season 2 of the series and I'm collecting already.
Yeah.
This is season 3 of that. And I worry that they're going to go up by like 25 or 30% when...
Well, yeah. Pricing is about to go through the roof if companies even bother to continue printing when that happens, you know?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So let's look at this collection. Friday the 12th collection. I got this on an SRS Cinema sale. We talked a little bit last time about Chris Seaver. And, well, I guess we're back talking about him because this is 3 of his films. Terror at Bloodfart Lake, Return to Bloodfart Lake, and Evil Dead Inbred Rednecks. So, you know, we got all that down. So, let's see what we got here. Pardon me as I have to get up close and personal with the back of this DVD. When a group of college kids head off to their friend's cabin for a little high-octane sex weekend, they will get more than they bargained for in the form of the evil scarecrow killer, Jimmy Van Brunt. Seems like nobody is safe at spooky cabins in the woods by lakes anymore. Yep, that's Terror at Bloodfart Lake. Now we have Return to Bloodfart Lake. Years after the massacre at Bloodfart Lake, the Scarecrow Killer returns, this time preying on a group of spirit hunters searching for the truth behind his killings. Now it's up to the survivors, Ben Shrivens and his redneck pal, Leo DeChamp, to stop him again before they are added to his list of victims. And then there is finally evil, dead, inbred rednecks. In a remote cabin, a group of friends gather for fun. When they find a mysterious book, they unknowingly resurrect the redneck Leo DeChamp, a serial killer who used to strangle kids with a skunk tail in the 1960s.
Anderson.
And we got a cat messing with the camera.
Yeah.
So, let's see. And I gotta check and see if it's still going, but you can go ahead and show your stuff.
Hopefully it is.
Yep, it is. Keep
Okay.
going.
My next one is actually, I had not planned this, but I shall be continuing a theme. This is also a Billy Wilder film starring Lemon and Mathau.
Wow.
And a very well-known one as well that I've been wanting to see and just never gotten around to. This is an earlier film from 1966 called The Fortune Cookie, which, again, this is a pretty good version. It's got a couple of bonus features, not a lot. But you've got Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, directed by Billy Wilder. You got, it says, introducing Judy West. Also got Ron Rich, Cliff Osmond. It is actually apparently the film that Matthau won an Oscar for, if I am not mistaken. And essentially, let's see, Harry Hinkle, Jack Lemmon, is one lucky guy when he's accidentally clobbered by a 220-pound halfback. All Harry suffers is a slight concussion. All that is until Whiplash Willie Matthau, a legal scoundrel of the First Order, arrives on the scene. And they basically go into an insurance scheme and so on and so forth. Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. And again, I do need to watch this. Maybe I need to just do a twofer. Get them both knocked out. That'd be kind of fun. And, well, it'd be about 4 hours total. Yeah.
The grumpy old men.
Exactly.
Back again.
Exactly. I mean, they did so many movies together over the years. The Grumpy Old Men series and the Odd Couple series being probably the best known. But these are both classics in their own right.
I guess here they're the grumpy young men.
Yeah, well, much younger. Well,
middle-aged men.
Odd Couple was, what, 68?
Yeah.
So this is basically Odd Couple era.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good times.
So this one here is a continuation of a collection I have, and the collection I have is from Arrow, but this is from Vinegar Syndrome, and that is the Lost Films of Herschel Gordon Lewis. So I have another Lewis collection. Okay. He is, of course, considered one of the kings of old school splatter films, and I've seen a couple of them because we talked about them on Schlockaholics. Even though the channel is kind of defunct at the moment, you should check out some of the reviews we did. 2000 Maniacs is really, really good. That's one, if I was to recommend any, that would be one I would recommend. And, of course, Wizard of Gore. But on this one, we've got Ecstasies of Women, which is a torrid comedy drama set in the swing world of the late 60s. Linda and Abilene combines the savagery of a classic Hollywood Western with the sequences of intense eroticism. Black Love exposes the love-making habits of contemporary black couples through the series of amusing and creative vignettes. And, all these have been restored. I mean, I don't know what I'll think of them. It may go in my shunned closet. I don't know. But I will watch them first.
Sounds like it's less gore-centric than what he's known for.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's also known for a lot of these sex films as well. Basically, it was that era, the 60s and 70s. Yeah. It was that era of... and a lot of these types of films were lost because they were cheaply made, cheaply distributed, and lost. So it's kind of cool to see this. This is pretty much one of the big horror / other creators of the time. So.
All right. Next up, I think my last two actually are both conversions, which I didn't really plan to end with conversions, but whatever. They're both classics, so I'm absolutely happy to put them forward. And again, I think these are both Kino Lorber releases. One that I actually saw in theaters, the rare February release that was the best film of the year. I still maintain it was the best film of that year, is the Charlie Kaufman, Michel Gondry collaboration, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which featured Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, and Tom Wilkinson. That's a pretty awesome cast to begin with. My love for Kaufman as a writer has dimmed dramatically from when this movie came out. I read his book Aunt Kind, and I'm sorry, it is literary masturbation. That's the best way to put it. Kaufman is an odd duck. Think an extremely witty, neurotic. He's like Woody Allen if Woody Allen was willing to go into the weirdest freaking places you could think of. Which Allen tends to be a lot more conventional. But Eternal Sunshine is it's one of the best sci-fi movies out there. It's a fascinating premise. Basically, Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet are a couple. Carrey is very schlubby, very quiet, subdued, like the anti-Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm. And Kate Winslet is a free spirit. Let's just put it that way. She is a free spirit. And they hook up, opposites attract and all that. And being that they're opposites, of course, it eventually sours. And she impulsively takes a experimental treatment where her memories of him are scrubbed from her mind. And he's so heartbroken, he decides to do the same thing, but changes his mind midway through. So the movie is him fighting to keep his memories. And Wilkinson, Ruffalo, and Dunst and Wood all play various employees of this company that does, and it's just a great movie. I love this movie. Absolutely love it. And I waited way too long to convert it to Blu-ray, so I'm glad I finally did. And this version, this has a lot of bonus features. They really went all in. They call it one of their studio classics. They really did put a lot of bonus features on that. So Kino every now and then will make a nice collector's disc. So very glad for that upgrade.
Well, I finally getting to one that actually would interest you overall, if you don't already have it.
It's slightly different.
And Hitchcock, his British Pictures collection. This is, I believe, I don't know which one this is. I thought it was Kino, but yes, it is Kino. It's a Kino release. A lot of these are a big upgrade because I got this $5 DVD set that had a lot of his lesser or older films on it, but they are very poor condition, and some of them don't work anymore, so I've got that one hiding away. Yeah. This one has The Ring, which is a boxing movie, The Farmer's Wife.
You mean it's not about Sadako?
Champagne, The Manxman, and The Skin Game. Now, actually, in truth, I'd only previously had The Ring and Champagne, so I've already gained more films than not. It's on Blu-ray, so it's got a pretty sturdy keeping on it, and it's kind of cool to have some of his older stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Ring is good, and so is Champagne. Both of those are good films. I've seen them.
I haven't seen any of these, I don't think.
Oh, Champagne is excellent. Especially Pink Champagne. I like that one too. But Champagne is an excellent film. A lot of his early works are kind of ignored. I did actually show some of those upgrades earlier by showing which ones were they? Well, you know which ones because you were there. But Gosh, what was it? 39 Steps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a couple like that. I upgraded to the Criterion versions of them from that horrible DVD set.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of cool to have those overall.
Yeah,
I need to get the Lodger because that's the one that they were talking about in Gosford Park earlier on.
Yeah. I need to get some of those too. Like, and I will say, going forward, I'm probably going to not have a huge amount of. I'm going through a major, shall we say, spiritual crisis, if you will, on just how much collecting I plan to do going forward. And I still believe in the idea of trying to preserve media as much as possible. The fact that these are pressed on plastic products is very problematic for me. But I still believe in preserving lost media, especially things that are important to the history of cinema. And Hitchcock, for all his flaws, is definitely important to the history of cinema.
I'd say this is probably the only one so far that you'd have an interest in.
Well, I will admit, I have no interest in Herschel Gordon Lewis's Gore, but I'd be kind of curious about that set. And most of the other stuff, maybe not so much.
Well, you might be amused by the Blood Fart Lake trilogy, but yes.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. My last one is an absolute classic. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why I am reevaluating how I go through my life. Because right now, we are in the grip of charlatans, mountebanks, and just plain assholes who are selling people a bill of goods, and it's, pardon my French, fucking up everything. So a movie about that basic theme, a classic film, which I did have on DVD, but now I'm upgrading to Blu-ray, is Elmer Gantry. Very good film. Burt Lancaster, Gene Simmons, is directed by Richard Brooks. 1960 film, once again a Kino Lorber release. Sadly and strangely, one of the weaker ones I'm showing off in terms of bonus features. There's not much on there. But again, this is an upgrade from a previous DVD. Handsome, opportunistic, immoral. Traveling salesman Elmer Gantry is all this and more. So when he stumbles into a revival meeting and discovers he can hustle money in a tent show as easily as in a saloon, Gantry converts to evangelism. Joining forces with Sister Sharon Falconer, he delivers demon-bashing oratories that bring him fame and fortune. But when an old flame reappears, he's forced to confront demons of a more worldly order, etc., etc. Like I said, really good movie. It is a classic and really shines a light on people who manipulate the faith of others for their own purposes. And definitely worth checking out, though.
For me, my collecting has taken a weird turn. It did get a bump recently, but the reason why it's gotten a bump recently is, again, it's more of a getting it while the getting's good.
Yeah.
Replacing some things that might wear out. That has been a big one. I always worry about my copy of the Twilight Zone, the movie, because it is one of those that's in that Warner group. Yeah. I checked it out just the other day, for instance, and it was fine. It worked well. Yeah,
there have been some
issues.
Quite a few reports of Warner stuff just not working, right?
Because they didn't properly laser it. Now, it's not all of the ones. So there are technically some that are on the list that some of those were burned correctly. Okay. So they're not all going to go. But if I can upgrade to Blu-ray for any of those that I like, I mean, I have a particular love of Eyes Wide Shut because to me, I really do think of... I don't like Kubrick, to tell you the truth. I really don't. And nothing reveals the man more than that movie. There's nothing more Kubrick to me than Eyes Wide Shut.
I still tell you, he could get a 10 on the pretension scale.
But,
well, the art scale.
So Blu-ray is important for that one. But yeah, you know, that one I wanted to get. I got a couple that I've upgraded because of that. I would love to upgrade Twilight Zone, the movie, but the Blu-ray's out of print. So, you know, it's sad to see that because it is a fun movie. And it does have a contentious issue as well of those people that died on it.
Yeah, I was going to say the history of that.
but they cut that out of the movie, particularly because of that. So, you know, for me, it's more of just trying to get it to have something there. Because eventually, I mean, the only reason why I have streaming services at all is because my wife uses them. If it ever gets to the point where something happens and I'm doing left here, all streaming goes away. I won't care what's on Netflix or that. I'll just dig into what I've got here. I may continue to collect. I may stop collecting. And if they stop doing it, I'll just say, well, you know what? Nothing new is worth my attention. And I will move on to catching up on all the stuff I need.
I tell you, though, last night we finished a series that is streaming that was getting per season releases despite being a Netflix production. So I will be on the lookout for a complete collection of Cobra Kai because that will be worth having. But as far as I don't know how much has been released.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners is actually going to be on physical.
Okay.
I have hopes that the Sailor Moon one will because I've noticed that some anime have gotten physical releases once Netflix has gotten its money out of it.
Yeah.
Because I would love to have the Crystal series completed.
Oh, yeah.
Which that will complete the Crystal series.
The two movies?
The Eternal and
the
other, which are kind of mini-series more than movies, the way they've got it. But, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, when I look at it, it's more of a preservation. And the next thing that I show is a video game. Now, I don't get a lot of physical video games. It may seem like it on the show. But, and most of them...
You get a lot more than I do.
And most of them are Switch games. And why? Because Switch releases games mostly complete. I could have no internet whatsoever. I could stick one of those Switch games in the Switch and it will play. It may be a little bit janky, but it will still play. A lot of PlayStation games are not always like that. Now, that being said, if there's a game that I feel like I really want to preserve in case, say, the internet goes out, I will get it on a physical. And that is the case here with the Suikoden collection. Now, this is not like the Ultimate Collection. There are 5 Suikoden main games. There are several spin-offs and so on. But this only covers the first 2, which were PlayStation 1 games. This is some Konami RPGs, and the famous thing about this is that you have 108 recruitable characters, which is a theme that they keep up throughout all the main games. I've only played the first 4. The 5th one is a PlayStation 2, locked on that console. I'd have to get a physical disc of it, which is very out of print. Have to get a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 3 that's backwards compatible in order to play that game. Not worth it when I've got so much else on my list. This, however, is on my list to get to. This is the next thing I'm going to play after I'm finished what I'm playing now. And I play very slowly because I don't have a lot of time that I play video games. But it's a great one. You are a hero, and you learn that in the first game you learn that this empire that you serve is not very nice. And you go and you help build an army to take them down. So you have military battles, you have one-on-one duels, you have all this character recruiting, and you get a special ending if you collect all 108 characters. The same goes for the second one, which is actually considered, next to the 5th one, the best game of all time, Suikoden-wise. And that one has a very deep story, again, about a couple of kids that are in the military of an evil empire, and they realize it's an evil empire. But unlike the previous game, you have 2 of them. One of the characters goes his own way and goes one path, and your character goes the other way, which eventually leads for you to clash. Now, it is also an amazing game, has great stories, and probably one of the best RPG villains of all time. Luca Blight is by far one of the most nasty villains I've seen, even next to real-life villains. Though I would actually say at least I know where I stand with that villain. But yeah, I'm very happy that this released. It's gotten some remasters, some 2D, 3D assets added. So I do look forward to tucking into this one.
All right.
Much like I do when they do the Lunar Collection next month, which I will be getting a physical for that as well. Because again, I want to be able to play those games. I don't trust digital. I mean, they have the right to take any digital purchase away if they want. And tell you, well, sorry, buy it again. Which is why usually if I'm doing a digital purchase, it's more like a rental because I just know I'm going to watch it one time.
Yeah.
So with that, that's it for mine. I hope y'all have enjoyed this.
Yeah.
If you did, subscribe, share, comment. You know, if we could get if we were a major channel, then I'm sure that that would be encouraging to both of us. Like if we were pulling in lots of money from these pickups, then I'd be picking up just for the sake of the money that would come in. But with that being said, we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
This is the end of the show. We hope you liked it though. We had our spend at time afraid it's almost time to go. This is the end of the show, but we felt you'd like to know. A bunch of friends right to the end. Our link just down below. This is the end of the show, so help us let you know. 'Cause here's Jake to say the things we thought just couldn't go.
And now we would like to take a moment to thank our friends at the Rebel Gaming Club for our rollicking opening number that has been gracing our videos for some time now. And we want to thank all our friends who come out for various projects and what have you. We have numerous links below, and we very much encourage you to check them out and give the other people a visit as well.
Hello, my friends! Hey! Yeah! Eddie, you're in too! Pour yourself a drink!